Hvala Saša što si otvorio ovu današnju treću Krogold konferenciju. A sada pozivam generalnog direktora rafinerije i kovnice plemenitih metala Argor Heraeus Jörga Endresa da održi prezentaciju Zlato, strateška imovina na svijetu koji se mijenja. Jörg, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Jörg Endres. I run Argor Heraeus Germany. All our products are still produced in Switzerland. But today I'm going to talk about gold as a strategic asset class in such an uncertain environment. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why there's a potential that gold could even go upwards in the next 12 months. But before I give you those 5 reasons, I want to give you a little bit more background on what's happening in the world. And this is a slide here which you all know. So we've got tensions in the Middle East, we've got the Russian-Ukraine conflict, we've got the trade tariffs, as you heard yesterday, and then we have China, US. You don't know how it's playing out. We have some kind of security crisis in Europe that we don't know how to manage. And then the question is always, why is it uncertain? Because this guy is just jiggling everything around, right? So you know all these topics, but he has made things more uncertain. And I think this is also why we saw the gold spike in the past 12 months. And on the next page, you can see the gold spike. What we've also seen in the last 12 months is that typically 3 years ago I would have gone here and say like, hey, interest rate goes down, gold goes up, interest rate goes up, gold goes down. But it hasn't worked anymore because this has been the driver of the gold price in the last 12 months. Before I come to my reasons, I will also give you a little bit information about supply and demand, but also look at the performance of gold here. If you would have invested in gold 20 years ago, you would have made a return of almost 12%. This is almost what you can do with shares and so on. So I think gold is a good asset class that you can have next to all the other asset classes that you have, in terms of diversification as well. But coming to supply and demand, this is what you need to know about. We've got gold supply, roughly 5,000 tons in the world. 2/3 is mining and 1/3 is recycling on the left-hand side. And please have this number in mind, the mined gold of 3,600 tons, because I will come back to this later. On the right-hand side, you see the demand. So you've got jewelry, luxury, you've got mainly India and China, they are taking it because it's a national culture to invest in gold as a jewelry because it keeps your retirement. It's safe for your retirement. Then you've got the investment community like you, institutional investors, private investors. And then we've got the central banks. Please also have the central bank number in mind because I will come back to this later as well. So 20% of the gold last year has been bought by central banks. In gold, we also have little industrial usage. This goes into your mobile phone, iPhone, semiconductor industry. We are also involved in this, but it's not a super big usage of gold because they also recycle a lot. Now, the first reason why there's a potential that gold can go upward, and I'm not really always bullish on gold, but gold could go upward next 12 months is the central banks. You see on the right-hand side the chart of the central banks. And the yellow part, which you see there, is that the percentage of holdings of gold of the central banks in terms of the asset. So you see in the 1890s, they had a lot more holdings in gold than they have today. You see even that between 1995 and 2008, gold has been selling. The central banks have been selling gold on the side. So it means when you see supply and demand, that on the supply side, the central banks have been on the left-hand side. They've been supplying gold. They're now buying 20% of the gold. They have been supplying. So they have a big influence. Why are they selling? It's because they want to diversify away from US treasuries. They are holding US treasuries. And imagine if you are an emerging market country, and if you hold US treasuries, and then Trump is going to say, hey, I'm going to put sanctions on you. You cannot keep your US treasuries, right? You don't have access to it. So they rather divest in the US dollar and invest in gold because it's a secure and stable environment. I think that this trend will continue, of central banks buying gold. Then the second reason why gold has a potential to go upward is that you guys might think, hey, gold is really expensive, but no, beer is expensive. If you would have bought beer if you would have had 1 ounce at the Oktoberfest in the 1950s, you would have got 100 beers. And today, for 1 ounce of gold, you get 200 beers at the Oktoberfest. Yeah. So gold serves as an inflation hedge. It's both physical, beer and gold, right? So both have kind of inflation hedges, but gold is a better inflation hedge. As an inflation hedge, you also see that we always think in euros, right? Gold investing in euros and US dollar. On the right-hand side, you see the gold performance in euro and US dollar for every year in the last 25 years. So you see that most of the times you've been on the better side. But also what's happening is that a euro and dollar performance in gold are different. Yeah? And that's the flip side of the coin, currently what's happening in the US. So we think that there's an advisor to Donald Trump, which is Stephen Miran. He's an economic advisor. And he's brought out a paper where he specifically states how he wants to weaken the US dollar. And they're currently doing this, right? They are imposing tariffs, and then they want to weaken the US dollar. If some of you have been at vacation or for vacation in the last 3 years to the US, it's terribly expensive. You wouldn't buy your jeans there, or you wouldn't buy many things there and bring them home. It's terribly expensive. So they want to push the US economy by weakening the US dollar. And the flip side of the coin is a little bit and that's the risk. I think gold prices in dollar will be increasing, or have good potential to increase. It might be diminished a little bit because if you invest in euros, the euro dollar will be decreasing. And we've seen this from yesterday to today a little bit. I think gold price in dollars was staying at the same. Gold price in euros were going down a little bit because the euro dollar went from 108 to 110. Yeah, in expectation of this. Yeah, so I should have given you this presentation 3 days ago, so you could have made a hedge on the euro dollar, maybe. Yeah, but this is the expectation that the dollar will be devaluating. But you also see that typically it has the same direction. Yeah, so you cannot do much wrong if you invest in euro and dollar. Yeah. So the reason number 3 why gold prices can further increase, gold is limited. Yeah, you never think it's there for 5,000 years, and it's being mined. So you mine 3,600 tons. That's the number I was asking you to stay in mind. And if we keep at this pace, all the known reserves in gold will be gone in 15 years. They will find new reserves, so it'll go on for a longer time. It'll be more expensive or so, but they will find new reserves gold and new ways to find gold in deeper ways. But at some stage, it's going to be more costly and it's going to be limited. Yeah? So on the supply side, 2/3 of the supply side is from mining industry. That will sometimes this century it will be gone. Yeah? And then you have a bit like Bitcoin, where they also talk much more about, hey, it's limited. Yeah? But gold is also limited. But with Bitcoin, I have to say, they looked in 10, 15 years ago, some smart students looked at Bitcoin, hey, what can we do to make the perfect investment? Yeah? What is the perfect investment? And then they came up, it's scarce, so gold is scarce, it's limited basically. Yeah? No one has global control on it, which holds true for both Bitcoin and gold. Yeah? Then it cannot be copied. It cannot be destroyed. Gold cannot be destroyed, and it's financially liquid. So because of the history, it's really liquid on the gold side. The difference is that gold compared to crypto you can physically touch, yeah? Which is a big advantage, I think, and it has a 5,000-year history. The little advantage on crypto is it's easier to transfer. We have this discussion in Germany at present that I think 1/3 of the gold reserves are in a vault in the US. So everyone goes crazy, say like, what if Trump doesn't give us back the gold? Yeah. So there's a movement. Maybe they say, hey, maybe we should get our gold back into our own vaults, yeah, and not have it in the US. But also you can transfer it quite quickly. So if you come to us as an institutional investor and say, I want to transfer gold to HSBC in London or so, we can put it on paper and transfer it, and we do the physical part of it. So our role as Argor Heraeus is also to provide liquidity in the market. We work with the mining industry, with the recycling industry. We make gold liquid in the end. Yeah? And when you look at 5,000 tons have been demanded last year, Argor Heraeus typically does 10 to 15% of this. So we produce products of 10 to 15% of the global demand, which is 500 to 700 tons of gold in Switzerland. Now, reason number 4, why gold could further rise. I'm always looking in terms of, hey, what's the young population? And then you see an advertisement on Instagram from a German bank here, where they say you can touch this. So they specifically target the young people and say like, hey, you can touch this. This is better than Bitcoin, maybe. I don't know if they wanted to say this. At least that's an advantage. And then what you also see is that roughly 4 million people have been buying gold as a first-time buyer in Germany in the last 12 months. And of these 4 million people, 40% are from the Generation Z. So the young generation. The Generation Z has been raised in relatively wealthy circumstances. Everything has been going up. And now they're looking at their TikTok and Instagram accounts. They're like, hey, I'm going really crazy. Everything is turning around. Yeah? There's a lot of conflicts, and they get it shown all the time on their social media. So what they then in the end do is that we've done a survey, or actually that bank has done a survey, and said like, hey, what's important for you, dear Generation Z? And they said like, hey, we want to hedge ourselves against inflation, long-term environment. We want to have something physical, and they are more generous than us. They want to give it away as a present. But you see that also the young people are interested. And then reason number 5 why gold prices will go up, because we are bringing out a new rebranding. So our bars you see on the left-hand side is the one with the shiny yellow line. On the right-hand side, you see our new bar. It will come out in July. And we've done on the blister a couple of new things, which is the Argor Heraeus side. And then on the back side, which is innovative, you see our Swiss origin. So you see made in Switzerland. And also, if you flip it around, it shows different colors. So it's also more tougher to, if you want to fake it or so, but it's tougher to fake it in the end. But also it looks very nice, I think, if you want to give it away as a present. And then we also have something else, which is a traceable product line. I think it's more a niche product for us, but in the end, what you do a scan with your iPhone, you can see on your iPhone or on the internet then where this gold is coming from. So we work with mines, and you say like, hey, this gold is from a Canadian mine or from a South American mine. So you can trace it back. We do this with tracking basically every single step, and the supply chain is very difficult. It's a lengthy supply chain in the end, but we basically would be tracking everything with the computer system here. Yeah. And this brings me to the end. Everything what I said, please don't buy on my comments. Yeah. And if there's time for questions, I will take questions now, but I'm also going to be in the panel. We'll wait in the panel then. Okay, then thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Jörg, for great and interesting information.